Welcome everyone. Today we are going to be taking a look at grass silage. I know Driver53 just released a video recently confirming that the bale limit is still 200 on console. And to be honest, I haven't run bales and I can't even tell you how long. I do use a few here and there just to make sure that, if I've got a really small field and I don't feel like dragging all my equipment over there, I'll go and do the bales. Or if I have a baling contract, I'll do them. But I really do enjoy doing grass silage, and because of the bale limit, I haven't done bales and I can't even tell you how long. So we're going to go through and go over everything that I've been doing so that maybe it can help you out if you're still trying to do bales. If you do want to do bales for silage, I'd really suggest taking a look over at that selectable bale capacity pack by GH66 Mods. If you want me to, I'll do a video on that one. Just go ahead and let me know down in the comments that you'd like to see that one, and I'll do one. But I know there are videos out there for it. So we're going to go ahead and hop into our crone here. This is not just the standard base game crone, as you can probably guess, because it does have a hitch and a trailer hooked up to the back of it. This is the mower and wrapper with hitch by Dogface Mod. It runs the standard crone, but it does throw this nice little hitch and PTO on the back of it, which is going to be really helpful for us. Attached to that back here, we do have the Lizard TARDIS XL Forage pickup harvester. I might be getting the name wrong there with that. Let me check real quick here, guys. Where are we? Forage wagons. There we go. So if we scroll all the way back here, sorry, that is just the TARDIS XL Forage wagon. That one's by Omatana. I love it. It is massive. That is the unreal capacity. We've got 200,000 liters back there that it can hold, and it'll take 100 liters of silage additive. So we're going to go ahead and start up our engine here. We'll drop down the pickup and start up our forage wagon. Then on the mower, we'll go ahead, turn you on, and drop our mower down. Now, the great thing with this too, besides the fact that we're going to get massive quantity on here, that forage harvester has a really big zone for what it will pick up. So even as you're turning, you tend to pick up the majority of whatever you're swapping there behind you. Now, we're even going to go ahead and let an AI worker take this over. And as you can see, it's still picking it up. Eventually, it will run out of space in that forage wagon, so you will want to kind of keep an eye on it. Just keep swapping into it here and there, because once it runs out, it will just be trailing down that swap behind you. Next mower we're going to take a look at here. Again, this is kind of for when you don't want to necessarily drag out the crone or you don't have space for the crone. This is the Zero Turn Mow It Pack by 82 Studios. It's a tiny little mower, which makes it really good either for small fields or getting in between fields. The nice thing, that back here, which is actually attachable and detachable, you do buy it separately from the mower. That's got a 5,000 liter capacity. Again, that's an unreal capacity on there. It works just like a separate forage wagon. It's actually in the forage wagons as well. So we're going to turn on the loading wagon, and we will make sure to lower our pickup on it. Then when we come back over here to our mowing deck, we'll unfold the mower first, drop it, turn it on. And even if you don't necessarily have the right option selected on there, because you do need a couple different options on that mower, which we're going to go ahead and change it real quick here. You actually do have to select the mower to change the work mode, which is a little bit annoying, because then you have to go back to the mowing deck to see what we're on. So we're on the bag now, so it will be working correctly. Get out of the way from there. But we can just go ahead and mow at 25 miles an hour on this thing, which is kind of crazy, and it'll just keep picking it up. Now again, once you fill up that 5,000 liter capacity, you will have to just come back and pick it up with something else. But I've never found that to be a problem, especially since we can go right over other swaps and pick it up with this thing. Oh, and we got our crone stuck there. Alright, so we're going to send this guy off real quick too, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at our last piece over here. So again, we've got the TARDIS hooked up to the back there. This is just on a regular John Deere 6250R. That is base game. We didn't do any special with that. But attached to the front here, that is the Lizard front windrower by Hispano. I have loved this thing since I started using it. It does come in a bunch of different sizes, so if you're looking at it, take a look through the shop. You can get it in a couple different sizes. You can change colors on it. But the awesome thing with this is you hook up to the front. So if you've got it hooked up in the front and you've got a baler behind you or like this forage wagon behind you, even if you don't have a mower that's swathing or you haven't gone through with a separate windrow or anything else, or for that matter, if you have, you might be able to see up here right in front of us here, we've actually got from an earlier cut 2 big old rows that did not get picked up. And we're going to pick both of those rows up right now at the same time. We'll turn on our loading wagon, drop it down, drop down our windrower, and just like if you were running another windrower to make one larger swath, it's going to just swath it right here in the middle, which means we're going to be picking up both of those into our forage wagon right now. This one's wide enough that we might actually be able to get to 3 as well. We've got a third one over there just kind of catching the edge of it. Little bit wide there it looks like, but I think you get the idea. It helps tremendously if you're using a different mower that's not capable of swathing or in a smaller spot, or for that matter if you just kind of suddenly lose out and your prone over there setup gets filled up and you don't realize that you got a bunch left on the ground, so you don't have to go back through as much with the crone. But now that you can see the way I'm actually mowing and picking up all of our grass, let's go take a look at what we're doing with it. So over on field 72 here, you might be starting to see it now. We have a massive silage bunker down there. That is the Lizard Bunker Close Pack by Hispano. And I think that I have completely fallen in love with those bunkers. You can certainly use any of the base game bunkers if you want to, but not only is this one huge, but it also has lights. I always seem that when I'm doing grass silage, since I'm trying to get everything done by the end of one day, that I'm working well into the night. And the lights just come in really handy. They are really powerful lights, and at night you can really still see what you're doing. So we're going to come and dump this in here. The other thing is this is the largest one he has, and this holds, I think it was like 3 million liters. So it's going to take you a while before you end up having to actually dump that out, which is fantastic. So we'll go ahead, and this is also base game. This is the big old Pinroth leveler, which if you haven't used this thing yet, try it out. It's awesome. Unlike most of the tractors, when you throw a leveler on the front, I have not been able to get this thing stuck yet. And it just seems to work way better than throwing a leveler onto a tractor. Alright, so you've got the idea with that. Our little moat pack there does have a leveler on the front, and I'll show you that real quick. It doesn't work the greatest. Now, if you had just a small silo, especially a drive-through one, it'd probably work pretty well for you. But if we're dealing something like this, which obviously this little guy would be a little bit underpowered for, but even the small stuff here, it just doesn't seem to really push all that great or get in perfectly. Even if we go all the way down, we can kind of do it, but we're kind of getting stuck even just trying to move over top of it. So I honestly haven't even bothered using that leveler most of the time. I generally don't even buy it because that is a separate attachment as well. But that's what I've been doing to actually get around having to deal with the bale limit. Now, if you have not seen this yet, this is the Lizard Forge pickup by Fluffy Mods, and I love it. We're not going to bother fermenting this into silage right now just because we've still got plenty of room in here to fill up. But we'll go ahead and grab some of our trailers here real quick because this is the fastest way to get silage out, or chaff for that matter. Now right over here, this is what I prefer for filling up all of my silage into at the end. This is the TLX Phoenix and the TLX 52X, or I'm sorry, TLX X52 Tipper, both by 82 Studios. Now, the reason I use the TLX Phoenix specifically on this is I like their dollies better. This is, again, an unrealistic capacity. These each hold 250,000 liters, which means with one double train like this, you have 500,000 liters loaded up into your trucks. But if we hop back into our forge pickup here, we'll go ahead and pipe out. It's going to lock right onto our trailer, so we can turn it on. And it is just going to blast right through our chaff here. And you can see how quickly we're filling up that trailer. Now, I used to screw around with doing conveyor belts and trying to be as realistic as possible with taking it out of bunkers. And I'll tell you, filling up one of these trailers took probably an hour or two real world time. So I had to slow my days down to either real time or half just to try and fill up the trailer. And when you're dealing with a ton of silage, that just doesn't work. But I mean, right here in just, I don't know what we're at, probably 30 seconds or a minute, we'll shut this off. We've already got 150,000 liters almost into that trailer. Now, you can already see behind the bunker here. If you're not a fan of doing semis like this, or if you want to haul even more capacity in a smaller space, that same TARDIS pack by Omatama that we have for our forage wagon over there, look at this. That same pack, you get just a standard TARDIS XL trailer. Again, this is an unrealistic capacity, 200,000 liters per trailer. So right here we've got 5 trailers hooked up. That means we've got 1,000,000 liters right here. So you're going to see the neat thing with this, and yes, this is going to be a little bit crazy to drive, and to be honest, I'm not even sure if this tractor will pull all of these trailers when they're filled up. But here's the neat thing. There's our 500,000 liter capacity TLX, right? We're going to pull up right next to it. And look at that. We're almost the same length. If I took one of those trailers off and we had an 800,000 liter capacity, we'd be at the same length as that 500,000. So you will definitely get a lot more capacity using these things chained up. But, I don't know, personal preference for me, I'd rather run the semi. It feels like you're at least being slightly realistic by throwing it into a semi to take off your sale point, as opposed to a massive train of grain carts. But it is an option there for you. You guys tell me, which would you prefer? Or which do you prefer even? Running a big old train of grain carts, or running a couple of them, running them more often, something like that, or running the semi-road train? I still like the semi better. But let me know, what do you guys like? If you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, there's one more mod that I'm going to show off to you here, because especially when you're dealing with those forage wagons, those things have 100 liter capacity of silage additive. Right here, we've got the Transport Pallets Pack by Scandinavian Vikings Mod Rebuilds team. That's a mouthful. Now, here's the neat thing. That's a 2,000 liter silage additive drum. Now, you are going to pay a lot for it if we go to our store here. So our standard silage pallet, we are going to be at 60 liters for about $3,000. That means it's going to take 2 of these just to fill up that forage wagon by Omatana once. I mean, that means you're going to keep constantly buying these. They're a pain in the butt to transport because they really don't stack well since they've got 2 different levels there. The nice thing with them, though, is if you do get those, they actually stack into these crates on this bunker, if you're using this bunker. But let's take a look at this transport pallet. Alright, so if we scroll over it, we've actually got 2 different versions with that one. You've got a fillable IBC tank, and you've got the filled IBC tank. Fillable means you can just get it, you select which product you're going to be putting into it, and you can go fill it from whatever you have, fill it from bulk, go to a sale point and fill it. Or you've got the filled one here. That's where this comes in handy. $100,000 almost for filled, but that is 2,000 liters. It works out to being about the exact same price as if you bought 2,000 liters with that base game one. except you don't have to buy a ton of different pallets. You don't have to worry about trying to transport all those oddly shaped pallets. You throw this one right onto a front loader, pallet loader, or anything, and you're good to go. Throw it right into the back of a trailer, and you'll be golden. I actually drove this all the way down from the store on this thing, and it was as stable as could be. There's no tipping, there's no falling over, it's not sliding off the forks, it's not moving around. It was perfect. So that's it, guys. That is my last mod there for helping you guys out with trying to handle grass and grass silage without having to worry about the bale limit. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys normally do it. Do you do bales and worry about the bale limit? Do you do bunkers? I mean, this is a massive setup right here. I love doing it set up like this. I always start off smaller and then work up towards something like this because it just makes things so much easier. Have a great day, everybody. Happy gaming.